So, I love Batman. If you've watched some of my videos, you probably figured that out already. But did you actually know that he first appeared in 1939? In May, actually, of 1939. You probably didn't know that, but now you have that knowledge. I don't really know what you're gonna do with that knowledge, but you have it now. So, anyway, I don't really want to ramble on about Batman. You know who he is, you know enough about him already, probably. So, let's get to the drawing part. I'm going to be doing things a little differently this time. A new angle, some new lighting, and I'm going to talk a little more. I'm going to tell you a bit about my process and everything that I'm using, the way that I go about stuff. It's not going to be too much, but I figured I should talk about the art a little more. So let's go do that. So when I'm in the process of sketching, I really like to use a 5B drafting pencil. I push the graphite out pretty far, and that allows me to be further away from the piece, which gives me a better understanding of the composition as a whole. Just lets me see more fully, if that makes any sense. It's pretty simple, just laying out the shapes and placement of the drawing and blocking out the shadows a bit, just to make it that much easier on myself when I start the inking process. So once I've gotten the sketching portion to a point where I'm happy with it, I switch to ink. And I think what I'm using to start with is a Pentel pen. I believe it's the JM20. I'm not 100% sure on that, but eventually I switched to a Pilot pen, which is what I normally use for detail work with inking, hatching and cross-hatching and all that. And the Pilot pen that I use is a G-Tech C4. It's not ultra fine, but it's pretty fine. And for me, it's more about the comfort and control than anything else. And I also use a brush pen just to block out the bigger shadow areas. As for shading with ink, the techniques are pretty basic. It's just cross-hatching or hatching. I do both. I'm not the greatest at it. There's people who are far greater. It's all about experience, really. And if you just sit down and do some basic lines and work on your spacing and feathering, feathering is when you go over a line more than once in the exact same area, which I personally am pretty bad at. But if you just sit down and work on it for even just like 30 minutes, you're immediately gonna feel a difference. You're gonna be so much better at it than you were to start with. It's really just about practice and experience. But as with anything, practice and experience is gonna make you better. The more comfortable you get with it, the more second nature it becomes. And I really do recommend that if you're an aspiring artist, or if you have trouble with ink, just take a piece of paper and fill up that entire page with hatching or cross-hatching lines. By the time you're done with that, you're going to feel way more comfortable and confident in your line. This isn't a tutorial video, it's just some advice from a guy on YouTube who pretends to be an artist sometimes. So at this point, the piece is pretty much done. It's just some final touches that I'm adding with the ink. Once I was done inking, I decided to pull the pencil back out and add a bit of depth with the shading. Just didn't feel like it looked complete enough, so I wanted to add a little bit of that. Once I did that, I was much happier with the piece, and I really liked how it turned out. So this is the final piece. What do you think? Do you like it? I hope so. I also hope that you're taking care of yourself, mentally and physically. These things are important. Please do not neglect yourself. Don't be afraid to reach out to someone. If it's a friend or family or professional, someone will help you, I promise. Anyway, that's pretty much it from me. My next video should be next week sometime. It'll probably be Inktober related, so check it out if you're interested. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you didn't get too sick of my voice, and I'll see you in the next one.